Hi everyone, welcome back to Ballet Express.
Today we are going to learn... Wait a minute, before we jump right into this video, have you subscribed to our channel yet? If not, here is how you do it. Just underneath the title over there, you see right over there, there's a big red subscribe button. Click that subscribe button, and next to that subscribe button, hit the bell button. Great stuff. Now, before we get into this video one more time, let's roll that intro. Okay everyone, now we are ready to finally get into our video, which is the easiest way to master this movement. What is this movement, you might be asking? Well, that is grand pliés. Now before you stop this video, because I know a lot of you think this is a very boring movement, but it's quite important. And here's a question for you. Have you ever tried a grand plié in the center and not fallen over? Well, I'm going to give you some tips on how to master this movement. So let's jump right in. Alright, now we got our bar ready, here we go. Of course, we have to start with first position, very, very important. So, if you have not learned a demi-plie, we actually did a video on this before, the link will be in the description. So now you know how to do a demi-plie, let's progress to our grand plie. 4 very important things to think about that are going to help you. Number 1, grand pliés are always done in 4 counts. Number 2, you need to think about your heels. Number 3, you need to think about your adductors and your hamstrings. And number 4, you need to think about your posture, which we have also done a video on. Okay, so let's start with our posture. Now that you've learned how to hold the correct posture, you always need to keep your shoulders in line with your hips, in line with your knees, in line with your ankles. So if you're seeing me from the side, we never want to hold our posture like this. In our grand plie, you want to always keep your shoulders in line with your hips. Next thing is our heels. So in your grand plie, your heels are the very last thing to leave the ground, and when you are coming up, they are the very first thing you need to think about to touch the ground. Next step, our adductors. You need to make sure you are doing your movement, activating your hamstrings and your adductors, keeping your alignment. So your demi-plie is count 1. And here you want to keep your heels on the floor as long as possible. And 2 is when your heels come off the floor, keeping your posture, holding your hamstrings and your adductors. 3, you want to push those heels down as fast as you can. And 4, while using your rotation from your adductors and your hamstring, is your stretching position. Alright, so the reason why we do not just go down 1 and 2 is because you have a high chance of damaging your knees, and that is something you don't want to do. And building on that, it's because you always need to have your knees over your second toe when you are doing a grand plie or any plie, any movement. So if I was showing you sideways, my knee is going over my toes and then keeping it, and my adductors are used to stretch. So that is your first position, grand pliés. In second position, this is the only position where your heels do not come off the ground. Same thing, posture, shoulders over your hips, using your adductors 1 and 2, still keeping that nice alignment, and here your heels are on the ground. And 3 and 4, using those adductors and hamstrings. Alright, so second position is probably the most simplest position because it's quite a wide position and your hips have space to move. Moving on to fourth position, which is probably the most trickiest position to do a grand plie in. So we have to have heels in line with our toes, toes in line with our heels, and nice pulling up, hips nice and square. So we never want to have our hips pointing to the corner, they need to be facing the front. And the same thing applies. Now you've got to actually add in an extra little step to think about, and that is pushing your shoulder and your hip back. So the foot that's in front, you want to think about that hip going back and that shoulder going back so that everything is pointing to the front. And we do pulling up, and 1 and 2, heels 3, adductors 4. Alright, and our final position, fifth position. Now because we were in fourth position, our heel to toe, same thing. Now we just close our feet together. And this is also quite tricky because sometimes we want to slip our heels inwards like this. We want to actually aim, I like to think my heels want to touch each other, or you can imagine they want to kiss each other, whatever you want to imagine. You want to go 1, heels squeeze together, 2, heels down 3, and adductors and hamstrings 4. So I would recommend doing a little exercise where you will do grand plies 4 times in each position. And it seems quite easy, but actually your legs will probably be shaking by the end of this. Okay everyone, now that we know these 4 easy tips to help you master this movement, let's get rid of the bar. Okay, fantastic, the bar's out the way. Now, one person is missing, and that is James. So let's get James in here.
Hey!
Oh, fantastic, James, and you brought Olive. Wonderful. Well, everyone, thank you so much, as always, for watching our video and supporting us. And we really hope you hit that subscribe button. We are trying our best to reach 500 subscribers by the end of the year, so please help us reach this goal.
Also, we will be continuing to do all of these educational videos all about all the ballet technique that we use while we dance.
Yes, we got to start from the very basics, which are usually the most boring. But stay tuned, it's very important to have the basics so that when we get to the more difficult stuff, you know the basics and your body knows exactly how to execute them. Thank you very much, guys. See you in the next one.